Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for this informational session with a representative from Rancho La Puerta. I'm Chef AJ, and I have been blessed to be invited as a guest presenter to the ranch, well, since 2012, going anywhere from 1 to 3 times a year. I estimate I've gone about 25 times now, and it's really quite an extraordinary place. I recommend everyone go at least once, if not multiple times. It's considered heaven on earth. Once you go, you'll understand why. And every week that they have a week on Friday night, they have a special dinner with some type of a music, and they'll say, how many people are here for the first time? And then people will raise their hands. Second time, how many people are here for the 50th time? And you just, it's one of those places that really needs to be on your bucket list. And so I had no idea all the years that I've gone that they had this thing called a group that I could be organizing with people of like mind, where we could go together and even get a discounted rate. So once I found out about this, I did an informational session and it sold out very quickly. And there were people on the waiting list. So the ranch was kind enough to book me for another date. So we have 1 week that is July 1st through 8th. And I believe that is still sold out. And there are people on the waiting list, but they gave me another date in August, the 19th to the 26th. It won't coincide with Labor Day. So, because that was one of the options. I try not to take holidays. Of course, why I took 4th of July. But the reason I took 4th of July is because that's my 20th anniversary off of sugar. And I figured what would be a better place to celebrate 20 years of sobriety than a place that basically tells you not to eat sugar. So I can answer any questions based on my experience there. But if you have questions like, travel and rates and rooms, I have Donna Sher with me here because she is the lady that books the group. So if you end up going, you will meet her. She's lovely. She's so helpful, and she's here to answer any of your questions. So again, if you have questions, you can either unmute yourself and ask them verbally, or you can type them in the chat and I can ask them that way. And yeah, so anybody have any questions? Yeah, you don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to turn your camera on to talk, by the way. Okay, no questions. Well, it was very nice meeting you all. No. Okay, Susanna, you have a question. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Sure. I've got 3 questions.
Sure.
One thing that I couldn't find on the website, I must just not be looking in the right place, is there laundry in the casitas or on the grounds at all? Or do we have to bring everything that we're...
Well, no, that's a great question. And there is laundry and you can do it yourself. And I'm almost sure, Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, that they'll do it for you if you leave it. I personally just,
yes. Yeah, correct. So there are 2 complimentary laundries that are extremely clean, all kinds of washing, washing everything that you need. The word escapes me. And they're available in 2 different parts of the ranch. They can also do it for you, and it's very reasonable. So both work.
Okay, thank you. Can we now, like I'm coming in July, can we now access to see what classes and speakers and stuff are going to be available in July, or do we have to wait till the 1 month before to access that?
That's another really good question. So the speakers they are scheduled up to 2 years in advance. So I would say 95% everybody is scheduled already for July. There's sometimes changes and people reschedule, and there's some movement. I will see if I can find out what the scheduling is for July, and perhaps Chef AJ, you can put it on your website, or I can contact you directly with it. If you go to the Rancho La Puerta website and on the home page and it says events, you can see what is up right now. Again, they are so busy there. It doesn't always, it's not always on the calendar as early as it could be.
So how does one go ahead and sign up for things?
My email, Chef AJ, is my email on there, my contact information?
I'm going to make sure we put it in all future correspondence.
Okay, so you can contact me. My name is Donna Sher, either by email or by phone. I live in San Diego, so Pacific Standard Time. I'm very responsive. I am not traveling, for the next month or two other than to the ranch. So I will get back to you right away with any questions. When you are interested in booking, a $500 deposit confirms your reservation, and then 30 days before your visit, the balance will be charged.
Okay, and as far as signing up for classes,
most
can we do that now, or do we have to wait?
So Susanna, most classes don't require a sign up. So for example, there are a few exercise classes, for example, like where there's limited equipment. Like for example, it's like, I don't know what it's called.
Aerial silks or TRX.
Yeah, like maybe there's only
Pilates reformer.
Okay.
And for those, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I was going to say is in the past, they would have people sign up, but lately it's just been first come, first serve, like who shows up on, first.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. Also, I just want to add that each hour there are 5, 6, or 7 classes. So there's in the majority of them, there's plenty of space for everybody. If there are classes where there's a star on the schedule when you get it, and there's limited spots in it, and my suggestion for those is just arrive 5 or 10 minutes early.
Okay,
a lot of people will sign up for stuff like the hikes and they won't go. So one thing I suggest is if you know for sure you're going, don't wait until you get there to book your spa treatments. You will always be able to get a masseuse, but you may not be able to get the one you necessarily want or the time you want. So I usually book my spa treatments minimum of 2 weeks, usually 4 weeks before I know, because for me, it's not only important to get Juan Carlos, but I like to go to specific time. So
I like Juan Carlos also.
Yeah, he's very good. And there's 2 other guys that he trained that are excellent. Actually, there's no bad masseuses there. It's just that I have a personal relationship with him now from going to him. So that's why I book mine in advance. Also, because I really like the last appointment of the day, which is 8 p.m. My dream is to one day have an in-room massage. They do that for an extra fee. So I recommend doing that in advance. The other thing I recommend, especially if you get there early on Saturday or whatever time you get there, when you get there, you're going to see this room. It's called a main lounge. That's where people meet for the hikes, and it's got a fireplace, and you can always get some beverage there. It's right next to the concierge's office, and it's across from the Mercado, the gift shop. And there is this big like cork board with like every day they'll tell you the different events and the speakers, but there's sign-up sheets. So for example, anything that would require a sign-up will be there the beginning of the week. So my recommendation is if you think you're going to do it, they give you a pencil, not a pen, put your name on. If you decide you're not, have the courtesy to scratch it off so somebody else can do it. So that's what I do. Because like, for example, some of the classes just, there's not enough equipment for everybody. So they ask you to sign up. So just the schedule will be available online. It may not be the complete schedule right now, but before you go. And so go into that room and then say, okay, I'm going to take this hike at this time. Most of the hikes you don't have to sign up for, really. It's just the breakfast hike. And the reason is they want to know how much breakfast to make. But the truth is if you're not eating breakfast there, you can go anyway, if that makes sense. This will all make a lot more sense when you get there. But the first time is always, there's a little bit of like, whoa, but it will work out. They do offer, I believe at 4 p.m. on Saturday, a tour for first timers. And what I could do is when my group is there, I'll do like the AJ tour, like, and just show you what I like. I mean, I'll just say, this is the AJ tour. And we can do that like, maybe even like right after that tour, like we can do it at 5 right before dinner. And I'll just show you like my tour, this is what AJ likes here. And I'll show you the lawn.
I'd just like to add also is that what I'll do is many of the guests do like the organic breakfast tour. And if you have not been to Rancho La Puerta before, when you get there, there's a lot to learn and it's overwhelming. So what I do before your visit is I'll check in with everyone and say, Chef AJ, or we're doing the organic breakfast tour on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and would you like to join us? And I will sign you up ahead of time. And then also I will give you a 2 or 3 months heads up with a phone number for the spa and suggest that you book your spa appointments ahead. I won't have the exact schedule of your when the schedule comes up for your week, but I have a schedule of what is similar. So what is similar would be the times and types of classes. So we'll know when Chef AJ will be doing her presentations and her cooking class, and when we're all having dinner together. And in that way, you can book your spa appointments ahead and around that. I find that it's easier to have something booked before you get there, easier to change. And as long as you give them 24-hour notice, it's fine to change your spa appointments. But I'll give you a direct number, and I find that the best way to do it.
Okay, one last question. I'm booked into a casita with the 4 of us, and just wondering, what if one person has a medical reason that they have to cancel at the last minute? How does that work for the other 3 people?
So your prices are based on the type of accommodation or casita that you're in, as well as the number of people. So you have the option, if there's another friend you would like to have join you, then that person can take the person who can't come, take their space. If there are 3 of you, the price will adjust based on 3 rather than 4. It's not a huge adjustment. It will be a little bit more than as if there were 4, but I don't think it's going to change your decision.
So we're not talking thousands of dollars.
Oh, no, no.
Like that.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Good questions.
Excuse me, if somebody has taken out a medical, the insurance, when I booked, I did take out the insurance. Would that not cover the difference for the others if that was necessary?
It would not.
It doesn't. Okay. Alrighty. And the other thing is, are the seminars, do they fill up, or is that something that we also would have to book ahead of time?
No, there's space for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only things like the cooking.
They do book.
Yeah, just like the cooking classes where it's a hands-on and there's only a certain amount of stations. Those would be the only things. So like any type of lecture, you'll see the rooms are huge.
But we will have you pre-booked for the cooking class. So you'll know which day you're going and the time, and that is your spot. You don't have to worry about that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? We've done a couple more of these information sessions, and when we send out the replay to you guys, I'll have Morgan attach the other 2 in case you thought of something afterwards. But of course, like Donna says, she's very responsive on email if you think of questions. And it's like how many months away? Well, 7 months away, 7 or 8. That's actually it's going to be quicker than you think. So, you're sharing a casitas. That's nice. I'm getting texted by people that are on this Zoom. That's pretty cool. So do you guys have any questions about anything, logistics, traveling to Mexico, visas, passports? We got the laundry covered.
So let me just add in on the passports. You do need a valid passport. It's taking, and can't quote me, it tends to take 6 to 8 weeks to have a passport renewed. So if this is a thing that a lot of guests fail to check until they're ready to go, and then everybody gets very excited about it. So I would say check your passports. You do need a visa to go into Mexico. The visas are about $33. They're paid online with a credit card. Do not get your visa until about a week before the trip, and I will be sending a reminder. It's a US government website. It tends to be a little quirky when you get your visa too far ahead of time. So, and again, you will be reminded and have an email about everything, but when you get your visa, you'll be asked to download page 1 of the visa, and also to download and bring the receipt of your payment. So those 2 things are really important. You don't need to remember that now. You will be reminded.
Do Canadians need the same visa?
Yes, visas for everybody.
And there would be a different site though for us to go to.
Oh, that's a very good question. And you know what, Marlene, I will check that for you when it gets close.
Thank you.
Yep. What more can I say? Oh, it's so funny. These are, Donna said maybe they'll be having the jewelry class again. I actually made these earrings at the ranch. It was my first pair of earrings that I made.
And so we had the jewelry class, the jewelry making class before COVID. And then after we reopened, we did not have the jewelry class again. And Chef AJ has mentioned that multiple times, wanted to teach the jewelry class herself, tried to figure out how we could get a jewelry class in. And lo and behold, I was at the ranch last week and there was a jewelry class and met two guests who showed me the jewelry they made. So it is back on the schedule. Okay, so we will also, before you get there, we will kind of highlight, things as, Chef AJ said that she recommends, that she likes. We'll have a better idea of her presentations that are for her private groups with you. So you'll get all this information.
Yeah, we haven't worked out the fine details. I only know that I'm going to be there at the same time as you guys that week for sure. And I will be doing the 3 cooking classes, and they almost always have me give 1 or 2 lectures, but I'm going to ask if I can do them targeted just to our group. But we might have to have.
We can do that.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that.
Or maybe have other people invited that are there if they're interested in this topic, but we're sort of a niche group. So.
A question.
Yeah.
And this may change as time gets closer. What about getting tested for COVID? Is that still what we have to do before we come, or is that not necessary anymore?
Good question.
As of about maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months, it is not necessary. We do ask informally that you do check. Remember, it is a wellness resort. So we find that most of our guests are very health and wellness conscious. So even though I am not required to do it, I check anyhow, just to make sure. And you wouldn't want to travel, if you're not feeling well.
I didn't know if it was also something that you needed to see.
Yeah, not right now. Not right now. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. Right. It's also on the website, which is constantly updated. But you will be informed any changes, anything. Also, most of the things will be outside. Most of the activities. We still have social distancing in all of the gyms and all of the rooms. I was there a few days ago, and I have to tell you, in the morning, it was cold. And the windows are open and the doors are open because, we still feel as though that's the best way to do it.
But that won't be a problem if windows and doors are open.
No. And you won't be using your fireplace.
Yeah. It definitely won't be cold there. Nice.
We'll be all notified of what we need to do, what we don't need to do. Absolutely. Before.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
You bet. Yes. In fact, you'll get, for me, the more you know before you get there, the better. And it makes your visit much more positive. Some say you've sent me too many emails. But again, they're all really informative. There's a lot going on at Rancho La Puerta and a lot to take advantage of. Once you get there, you won't feel overwhelmed about it, but it's just, about going someplace new. It's such a wonderful environment. As Chef AJ does, I just love it. I've worked there for 12 years. I was a guest for 5 years before that. And every time I go, even working there, it's like I still feel that joy, that sense of joy there. So you'll be well informed about everything. I'm there for you. I'll be there when you're there. We have over 400 employees there. And I have to tell you that everybody is kind and accommodating and grateful to have you there. I've never felt anything like it on any vacation.
Here's a question from Faith. Can you please describe what the typical meals are like? Are there options for people that are SOS-free vegan? And what that means is no animal products, no sugar, oil, and salt.
Do you want to take that or do you want me to take that?
You take it first and then I'll give my
Okay. Yes. So yes, you have all these options and we are extremely familiar of Chef AJ's style and understand that the majority of people who are coming in this group, eat in a very similar style. So yes, we can accommodate you. You will receive, when you get to the ranch, you can let me know, you'll let me know ahead of time, so it'll be noted on your reservation what your eating preferences are. And when you get to the ranch, at your first meal there, be it lunch or dinner, let the concierge know specifically, and I'll be there to help accommodate that as well. We don't serve any meat, no chicken, no beef, no pork. We do serve fish and seafood. I would say at any given time, up to 30% of our guests, and we have about 150, maybe 160 guests a week, have an eating preference or an eating sensitivity. So we are, very able to accommodate that. During breakfast and lunch, everything is labeled. It's buffet style. Everything is labeled. If there's something that you want that's different, you can ask and we can accommodate that. And at dinner, mine just went off. Did I lose everybody?
No, I see you and hear you.
Oh, okay. I think my computer, there we go. I think my computer is screaming to be replaced. What was I going to say? At dinner, it's labeled as well. It's seated, you will be served, and yes, you will be accommodated.
Great. So from my perspective, if you're vegetarian, you're going to have zero problem. And meaning not SOS free. And if you're vegan, you're not going to have any problems. When you arrive, especially if you arrive a little bit earlier on Saturday, they do lunch pretty late on Saturday. Saturday's the transition day. And so instead of lunch being from the usual 12 to 1:30, it's like 11 to 3. So that way people that have to leave early or whatever. And so usually it kind of quiets down after lunch, but before dinner. And then I go in and I look for one of the maitre d's, and that's when I talk to them about my dietary preferences. I give them a letter now. It was written for me. I don't speak Spanish, by Chef Ramses Bravo in Spanish. I make multiple copies of it. And then they have this little page where you write down your name, your room number, and what it is. Vegan, gluten-free, allergic in my case to, soy, whatever it is. And then you're going to be assigned a number. And so when you go to the dining room, especially for dinner, it's not really necessarily as crucial for lunch and breakfast because you're basically kind of serving yourself for those meals, but it's like on a metal thing. It's long and it'll be your number and your name. And so then the server knows to cross-check that against that sheet. Now, as far as oil-free, before the pandemic, it was really easy because when you get there, you're going to see in this beautiful dining room, there's like a buffet with two sides. And one side of the buffet was regular and one side was oil-free, gluten-free. That's not the case anymore. So a lot of the food the thing is as far as oil goes, compared to like every other restaurant in the world, they really do use minimal oil because they do understand a bit about calorie density. They do it more like with portion sizes, but they don't fry foods. They don't use an egregious amount of oil, but there will be some. And I've talked to the chef and I've seen some of her recipes. Like sometimes the salsa will say oil and like, oh my God, why is there oil in the salsa? She goes, just a little bit like when I did the pepper. But so there could be, small amounts in things like that for sure. But you can tell them, I have heart condition, I have no oil free, and then they will steam or make whatever you want. Like for example, when people order greens, they don't usually come with oil. If you want oil there, you have to ask, but you just have to be very, very specific about it. As far as sugar, they're not really putting sugar in their food. If it is in something, it will be labeled. It's usually they're using, I think, agave or honey. Mm-hmm. So for example, in the
maple syrup.
Yeah. And if that's the case, it would usually be in a dessert, which they don't really serve a lot of desserts. I think there's like one cookie a week on Friday and they make a vegan version and a non-vegan version, but sometimes they'll have like lemonades and things like that. And, you'll read it, like they'll put a little check mark if it has agave. So, you got to read and but they won't like try to trick you. The thing is they don't really understand that agave is sugar. So, if you're really avoiding sugar, you're not going to have agave, honey, or maple syrup either. So sugar is not a problem. Unless you just get everything off the menu steamed, it's probably going to be hard to get everything 100% salt free. They don't use a lot of salt, but for example, they have a salsa bar at lunch and breakfast that just makes everything taste delicious. They make it fresh every day. They make a pico de gallo. They have somebody that's like their whole job is to cut the tomatoes really, really fine. They make a mild pico de gallo. They make a spicy ranch salsa, which is a spicy pico de gallo. They make a green tomatilla salsa, a red salsa. My favorite, it's like a brown salsa called pasilla salsa. And then there's one or two more that I don't have. And there is some salt in there. So I do personally, even though I don't cook with salt or add it to my food when I'm there, I do enjoy all the various salsas. And so yeah, if you're like a heart condition or something and strictly cannot have one drop of salt, then definitely, tell that to them in advance. They will accommodate you, but they won't necessarily be able to make everything exactly the same that everybody else is getting if you insist on SOS free, just because that's not really something that most chefs anywhere in the world are familiar with. But if we have enough people going, and they're bound to get it right the week that we're there, because most of us aren't going to be eating those things. There's always going to be fruit, for example. So you know that there's nothing there in the fruit. Steamed vegetables, you know, again, they used to have one side with and one not. I wish they'd bring it back, because they used to have vegetables for breakfast. They always have beans for breakfast, that's for sure, and homemade corn tortillas. So you will be able to get a variety of things, but like strictly SOS free. What type of exercise classes are available? I think a better question is what type aren't, because they have more types and variety of exercises than anywhere else I've ever been. And that's how I finally became an exerciser at the age of 52 after a lifelong inactivity, because I found something that I didn't hate, which was spinning. And I actually have, I don't know if you can see this, but let's see. Wait, there you go. Got a mic now right by the window, thanks to Rancho La Puerta. I mean, you could probably see a sample schedule on their website, but the day starts pretty early for those that wanted to start early, like at 6 o'clock. They have tons of hiking, and it's not just boring hiking. This is in the Cachuma Mountains. This is real hiking, like real hiking, like it's like they have shepherds on the hikes, and really vigorous hikes. They have easier hikes too, like that are just a mile or two. So they have a wide variety of easy, medium, and difficult hikes every single day. So that's one form of exercise that starts early. They have yoga every day. They have Pilates every day. They have stretch classes multiple times a day. They have all kinds of pool classes, from aqua yoga in the pool where you're doing on a board, to deep water aerobics, to shallow water aerobics, to water polo on the noodle. They have a whole aquafit program. So there's always the pool classes, water polo. Let's see what else they have. Well, not everybody does it, but they have get and they have volleyball.
And pickleball.
Pickleball is really popular. Get there early. They have pickleball. That's one of the most popular activities there. They have Tabata. They have TRX. They have ranch ropes. They have yoga silk, which is yoga. It's these things,
aerial silks.
Aerial silks, very fun class. They have the bouncy class. It's not called bouncy, but
a trampoline.
The trampoline class. They have I love this release and mobilize, especially with Mike. They have these classes where you take a tennis ball and a foam roller and you get into all the nooks and crannies. What else they have? My favorite class is called sound healing. You lay there 45 minutes and they play the Tibetan bowls and you get into this deep trance. They have meditation classes. What other exercise? I mean, they have circuit training. They have, you know, depending on who the instructors are, each week is a guest instructor in a certain fitness discipline. So, you know, could be like Larry Payne, who's very famous with yoga. He was there one week. So they could, they have hip hop one week. Oh, they have different, I don't dance.
They have dance. Different
dance classes. I hope that Manuel would consider doing his striptease class for our group. I think that would really be amazing if he did that. And the trampoline class, by the way, it's not a big trampoline. It's just the bouncy thing. I mean, I wish it was a big trampoline, but it's the bounce class. That's a very fun class. I've taken that. I'm sure.
So I was just there. Let me just fill in, because boy, you have that memorized. You have it down. Let me just fill in some extra ones. I just want to say also that they're for all levels of fitness, you know, at the ranch. So the hikes go from 2 miles to 8 or 9 miles. There's a leader in the front, a shepherd in the back. All levels of hikes. There's meditation. We have sculpt and strengthen. Chef AJ mentioned TRX. We have a chant class, which is not really an exercise, but lovely. Spin class, called a cycle class. There's pickleball. There are pickup games for pickleball and tennis. There is sand volleyball, cardio blasts, shallow water workouts, deep water workouts, Feldenkrais. There's
gyrotonics. We forgot gyrotonics.
Yeah, gyrokinesis. Yeah. So barbell strengths. I did a class the other day, a treadmill class that was like hiking, which was wonderful. There are art classes, which is not exercise, but wonderful, and travel journaling. There's a labyrinth, you know, for meditation. I think your biggest concern at the ranch will be what class to do when, because you look at the schedule. I'm looking at it now. There are 8 classes at 10 a.m. and I narrow it down. When I get there, I go through my schedule and I circle the things I want to do each hour. they're usually 3 or 4. And then as I get closer, try to narrow it down. Many of the classes are repeated through the week. So if you miss one, you can take it later on. But there's so many to choose from. You'll have to remember to take the time to relax and not do any sometimes too.
The first time you go to Rancho is like the first time you go to Disneyland. But then after you've been to Disneyland a few times, you don't really have to necessarily always go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You head to Pirates, you go to your favorite things. And so the first time, you'll see, it's really funny because you go to class on Sunday and like, oh my God, it's so crowded. And then Monday too, and like each day it gets smaller because people get so tired because they're overdoing it because they want to do everything. Now, if you're like me and have been there as often, I just want to relax. I just want to go and just hang out, have my massage, have my free smoothie by the pool. Oh, by the way, here's the other thing. So for those of you that were worried that you won't get the right food or enough to eat, I assure you that like if you ask for more, they'll give you more. They do spa portions at dinner, but you're allowed to ask for more. But also there is an opportunity to eat 6 times a day, but also you're allowed to have food in your room. So you can eat whenever you want. You're going to have a small refrigerator. You're going to have that coffee pot thingy that you can make coffee and tea. So you can eat whenever you want. But Ranch serves 3 meals a day, breakfast from 7:30 to 9, starts earlier on the Saturday, which is the depart and arrive day. Lunch from 12 to 1:30, starts earlier on Saturday and it goes 11 to 3 on Saturday. And dinner is 5:30 to 7, I believe. And they also have times during the day that they serve designated food. So the first time after breakfast, I believe, is either 10:30 or 2:45 in the lounge where they have fruit. So there'll be cups of cut up fruit. It'll change every day. So like if you're really working out hard and you need a little burst of energy, you can have cut up fruit around 10:30 or 10:45. And I believe it's either 2:30 or 2:45 by
45.
Yeah, they have smoothies. Now, smoothies are something you can get at the smoothie bar and pay for at any time. But if you go during the smoothie half hour, they're free. They make them with either almond milk or coconut milk, and they make different varieties, and they have little cups. So, you need to drink like 5 of them, and they often serve some chips and bean dip with it as well. And then the third opportunity for a snack, other than the designated breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I believe is 4:30, and it's again in the lounge, and there'll be some cut up crudité. And so it's not like our group might be different. We'll be descending upon it. But in general, when I go to these eatings, it's not like people are descending upon it because, they're busy doing activities or things like that. And, when you arrive, there's a couple of pieces of fruit that's already for you in your room that you can enjoy, and you can always get more. Make sure you bring a water bottle because they have delicious water at the spas and at dinner, different herbs and flavors all the time. And they sell food in the gift shop. So it's not like you're going to starve. It's just that they're not used to people like us that eat low calorie dense foods that have to eat these large volumes. And especially if, they're like, anyway, but you'll be able to work it out. But if you're somebody that travels in general, take care of yourself. Like I go everywhere with food. I'll bring some dehydrated granola just because I like to eat when I'm hungry. And what if the plane is late and things like that? I see a question from Barbara. She says, what about those of us going on our own? I don't see options for accommodations for solo travelers on the website.
So yes, we do. We do have accommodations for coming as a single, 2 sharing, 3 sharing, and 4 sharing. There are limited numbers of casitas available if you're coming as a single. So my suggestion is, if this is on your bucket list, is to book that sooner than later as a single. And yes, we do. So, and it is on the, I believe it's on the landing page. I'm sure it's on the landing page.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
With regard to the exercise classes, are they rated accurately for ability?
I believe they are. What's interesting is I do many of the classes that are offered at the ranch at home. So I feel as though I'm quite adept at many of them. I find that the Yoga One class, for instance, and I belong to a yoga studio, I do it all the time. And it is good for someone who has never done yoga before. And it's fine for me too. It's challenging for me too. I find the classes that are level 2, even though I do it all the time, are a lot, let's say, more challenging than the level 1. But again, you'll see. And they encourage you to do what feels right to you, and they'll help you adapt the class, to your level.
Thank you.
Nice. There's a movie every night if you want. The last class would be at 8 o'clock to 8:45 or 8:50. And it's usually some kind of a lecture type class, but they also have a movie every night in the library lounge. I believe it's 7:30, and all this schedule, like the schedule will be in advance, of course. On Monday night, they have a social for everyone at what's called Bazaar del Sol, where they make veggies and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you will not lack of anything to do. If anything, you'll have the opposite problem, is you're not going to be able to decide what to do because there's just too many choices.
Another thing too is on Wednesday evenings, the founder, Deborah Zake, when she is not traveling, is there speaking. She was 100 years old in May. I saw her a couple of days ago. So and that is something I believe not to be missed. Whenever I'm there, I always go to see her. And she's now doing a presentation with her daughter, Sarah. So you'll have 2 generations there, and you can see, get different aspects of the ranch.
Yeah, she's not to be missed. And in the email that invited you to this Zoom, we included an interview I did with her for her 100th birthday. She's very inspirational. And iPhone says, can you talk about transportation from the airport?
So we offer transportation on Saturdays at 4 times. It's on the website and should be there. I believe it's on the landing page as well. And we pick up at the airport at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12:15, and 2:45. You sign up for that ahead of time. You can, if something comes up and you need to change that time a day or 2 before, we will accommodate you. So not to worry about that. It will have the location. There'll be a map of where to meet at the airport. San Diego Airport is relatively small. It's very well mapped out, and we will be looking for you. We will not leave without you. They do leave pretty promptly though. And then there are 4 times on Saturday when you depart, where we go back to the airport. I want to say it's about 7:30 to about the same times, a little bit different. It's on the website. We ask that you allow 3 hours from the time you leave the ranch to when your flight departs. We're 3.5 miles from the border, so we're only a few minutes from the border. From the border, Rancho La Puerta, it's 60 miles to the airport. On Saturday mornings, there is rarely traffic. So if it takes an hour to get there, that's a long time. However, you never know. Something could come up. You don't know what the lines are at the airport. And after a relaxing Zen-like, situation at the ranch, we don't want you to be stressed and trying to be worrying about your flight. So even though I am one who cuts it pretty close when I go to the airport, you don't have the issue. So just consider 3 hours from that. The transportation are vans or luxury buses. They're very comfortable. There are snacks there. Everything is very clean. If you come, many people from out of town, depending upon what time you're coming in, if you would like a full day at the ranch, because our earliest shuttle to the ranch is at 8 a.m. on Saturday, and then our final one is at 2:45. We offer 4, and that is it. But there are alternatives. Okay, let me step back a moment. If you wanted to come in a day early, if you want to come in on Friday because it's maybe less frenetic and trying to get there and the timing and everything, we have a relationship with the Sheraton Harbor Island. It's on the website, and if you need more information, I can get you that as well. And we have special pricing from them. There's a complimentary shuttle from the airport to the Sheraton Harbor Island, which is directly across the street from the airport, although you couldn't really walk there because it's a pretty busy thoroughfare. And it's on Harbor Island, so it's on the water. There are walking on paths there and sidewalks and restaurants, and it's really lovely. And then they will pick you up Saturday morning for the shuttle, and you can get to the airport, very easily and meet the ranch.
Except you won't want to go home is the problem.
This is true. There are other places that I can suggest also. I've lived in San Diego a very long time, and there are other options for Friday night as well.
All right. Putting in the chat, any more questions, comments? Some people are texting me, so that's fine as well.
Another thing I want to add, Chef AJ, which I know we briefly talked about, but I'm going to try to work with specific servers for dinners for us when we are there. So they'll be familiar with the types of foods that we're looking for and can accommodate us more easily.
Thank you.
I have an extra question.
Okay. Go ahead, Colleen.
Okay. And this may be a personal thing, but when you're talking about the hikes, how important do you think like actual hiking shoes are versus just regular sneakers?
So for me, I like to hike and I have hiking boots. So I'm more comfortable, in the hiking boots. If you don't hike much, but you want to hike there, as long as you have a sneaker, that has a good lug sole on it, that's what I would suggest. I wouldn't suggest you go out and get hiking boots if you're never going to wear them again. You don't wear them now. The trails are, they're taken care of every day. So it's hard pack. There are some rocks in there. They're kind of as safe as trails can be. But they're well taken care of. They're wide. You're not going to fall off the mountain. That kind of thing. They're pretty safe.
Okay. Thank you.
What I would say, Colleen, is if you are doing a hike that is of moderate or difficult degree, then I would totally recommend you get some hiking boots, something that goes up to the ankle. If you're doing the very, very easy ones, I've done those in just my Asics tennis shoes, no problem. But I'm more comfortable in hiking boots just because, I'm clumsy, I'm accident prone. I don't want to twist an ankle and not be able to teach my cooking class, a little pebble. So I do recommend hiking boots, and you can get vegan ones like really cheap at Big Five. I got mine for like $15 and they're really good. So I would feel more comfortable if everybody did wear, if not hiking boots, at least something with some support, because
thank you.
Yeah, it's outdoors. And, what clothing do you suggest we pack for July? Well, let's see, because apparently I'm always cold, so I'm going to answer it different than a normal person, but definitely a bathing suit. Most people do not dress up at the ranch. I mean, the only exception is maybe Friday night, some people put a prettier dress or a fancier shirt on, but for the most part, you're working out all day, so most people are in more workout type clothes. So I basically bring most of the time, when it's warm weather, I'm in shorts, shorts and a tank top because I go to my fitness class, sometimes leggings and a tank top. I don't always wear shorts. When I'm at the casino, when I'm at the cooking school, then I'm wearing a chef coat and long pants and of course, closed-toed shoes. Make sure you have some closed-toed shoes. This happens all the time in the cooking class because people want to wear their pretty sandals and show off their pedicures. But then when you go into the garden, there's these fire ants and they say, go at your own risk. So please always bring closed-toed shoes when you come to the cooking school. And maybe a sweater at night, but it's a nice time of year. It's not too hot there, honestly, but you don't have to bring anything fancy though.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. It's very casual. It's very unpretentious. So whatever you work out in at home is fine there too. I always wear sneakers. Maybe sandals at night. Sometimes people wear sundresses or lighter dresses at night because it's cool. It's always cooler there in the morning and the evening, no matter what the season is. So I layer. For me, since I grew up in New York and spent a lot of time on those tar roofs with sun reflectors, I always keep covered. So I always wear long sleeves and very light, light tops. I bring a visor or a hat. I bring sunscreen, although there is sunscreen in all the spas there, and all over. And I think the main thing is, just layering. And I agree with Chef AJ, maybe a little something for the evening. It's hard to tell because it gets a little bit cooler at night, but very comfortable. I find there's air conditioning in all of the gyms, the dining hall, in the casitas. I very rarely use the air conditioning. I find in the evening there's the windows to have screens, and I like the windows open, and I don't really need the air conditioning at night. So I just say casual, comfortable. There are laundry machines there.
I see people walking around, and I've seen people walking around in robes, bathing suits, going from one thing to another. You can sunbathe naked if you want. There are places for that.
In the spas.
In the spas, yeah, not in the general area, but outside your casitas, you can't. Yeah. They won't bother you.
Every casita has a private sitting area outside.
Are there robes in the rooms? Yes.
There
if
are.
you take them home, you'll be charged, but you can certainly wear them while you're there. And yes, Andrew Mellon is scheduled for the same week as me. That's one of the reasons I picked it. I just spoke to him today. So that'll be a very fun class. I've done everything he said. You should see how organized my house is now. It's like amazing.
I have another question. Speaking of bathing suits, do they dry quickly there?
They have a little machine when you go into the locker room. There's two I don't think any men are coming with us, if I could be wrong, but in the female locker rooms, there's two locations. There's the Women Health Center, and then there's the Villa Health Spas, and they give you a little wrist key, like you can have the locker the whole week you're there. And there's this little machine, and it's free, and you take your bathing suit and you put it in there and you push this button and it comes out dry. I don't know what it's called, but it's fabulous.
Wow. Because I was just in the Dominican Republic, and my first bathing suit that I wore on day 5 of packing was not dry yet.
Oh, wow.
So you had to have a bathing suit for every single day. So that's why I'm asking, like, how many I need to pack.
So you can, and then they have little plastic bags, but that little spinning machine, it makes it almost completely dry.
And then you can put it out on your patio and it dries also. I always bring a rash guard also. You can get them like Gap, Athleta, to just keep myself covered when I'm in the pool. So then a lot of people do that. You don't have to do that. And there's nothing you're going to do that's going to really eat your bathing suit. So, your suits will be fine. They're no worse for the wear.
And there's several pools. There's one main pool where they do the water aerobics, several classes a day. And that's also where they have the smoothie bar. And then there's the Villa pool that's up over there. There's different locations. There's like Lunas and Villas and Flores. And then there's this other pool that's kind of in the middle, almost on the way to the lounge. And that's where they do this class that I haven't taken, but I definitely want to do it. It's called Aqua.
The paddle class.
Yeah, it's like a yoga class in the water on a board. And I hear it's very challenging, Ramses told me, but that's the one that I'm really dying to take.
It is very challenging, but so much fun.
The hard thing is because I have to be at the cooking school 3 days and I have to arrive a couple hours earlier than the guests. There's a lot of classes I've just never had the opportunity to take because they're only offered at that time. But please, if you have a chance, do it. If you're getting laundry done for you, do you have to pay right then, or do you run a tab for everything for the week, like laundry, smoothies, gift shop, and pay them all on credit card at the end?
Yes. You pay, so you don't need any cash once you get there. Everything will go to your account, and then when you check out, you'll get an itemized list.
Are gratuities included? Or
No.
are they extra?
Extra.
Okay, and what is standard?
I think standard is to what you pay here, as well. They're not expected, but they're appreciated. So whatever you feel is appropriate. When I'm in spa, I tip 15 or 20%. And then I always leave a tip for the gratuity for the housekeepers, for my room, for the guys who help me with my luggage, whatever you think.
There is a safe in the room. You really don't need cash while you're there because you can charge everything to the room. And when you go to the spa, they have suggested treatments, suggested gratuity for the different amounts of time in the treatment. I can just tell you that for my 50-minute massages, I tip between 20 and 25. That's the only thing I've ever tipped, because usually whoever I bring takes care of the housekeeper or the luggage and the kitchen. So yeah. And then you do it all at the end, at the very end of the week.
Yeah. There are little envelopes, gratuity envelopes everywhere. At the spa, usually what I do, since I don't carry cash during the day, is I'll take some envelopes with me when I'm at the spa, and then I'll just put the therapist's name on the envelope, my name, what the treatment was, the date. And then before I go, there's a box. There are little boxes in the spa, dining hall, at the cooking school, and then I'll put them in, a day or two before I leave.
Yeah. Can you leave your tip on your credit card?
No.
Okay. You gotta bring dinero.
Do they appreciate American money? Is that what they prefer to have?
Yes, absolutely. You should, everything there. Remember, it is a U.S. company, so everything there is in dollars. You might see You might see charges when you check out. They'll do it in pesos, but it will appear on your credit card in dollars right now, and for some time it's been about 20 pesos to $1.
Nice. I'm seeing if I can pull up if anybody's already booked the week that I'm there that might interest you. We know that Andrew Mellon is booked on
Are you talking about July or August?
Yeah. I'll pull up both of them. July, because July is sold out, right, Donna?
Yes, July is sold out.
Okay, so let's see if we have. Oh, I got to get on the ranch calendar. I'm just on my special Chef AJ page, but that's one thing. They don't always put everybody up there like a year in advance or even months in advance. So I will tell you that is the truth. But there's usually always somebody more like in the spiritual realm, in the artist, there's always some musical guest. I mean, I've been there when Debbie.
Yeah, there are always concerts.
Yeah, I've been. Debbie Boone was great. I was there. She had her sisters, and they did a concert. The remaining survivors of Peter, Paul, and Mary were there one week. Then I was there. They were fantastic. Let's see, some Broadway people that you may or may not have heard of. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to the calendar for July, and I'll tell you what it says. There's something called Inner Fitness, Love and Mindfulness with Linda Carroll. Isn't she the mother of Courtney Love?
She is.
Yep. And then, you'll like her, Denise Dudley. She's actually vegan.
Yes, she is wonderful. Is she there then?
Yeah, she's there.
Oh, you will love her. She's one of my favorites.
Amp up your personal effectiveness, a water program. So they have a special person that with the water program that's not just the ranch employees. Right. Let's see, for the next week that I'm there, August 19th through 26th, let's see who we got. Inner Fitness. Retrain the brain for greater connection, joy, and purpose with Randy Kamen, and meditation with Sylvia Borstein.
Oh, she's wonderful.
So there's only a couple things that are already listed, but trust me, when you get there, there's going to be like probably 10 presenters that week of all different types of things.
And then let me just give you a couple of ideas too from this past week. There was a film and TV director who was there. There was a writing workshop for poets, songwriters, prose writers, concerts. There was a world-class Juilliard violinist there. There's a woman there who's teaching Texas Hold'em poker. There was a sports medicine doc there. Cooking teacher, of course. A Feldenkrais, specialty. So they're diverse. Let me just see. A storyteller. Deborah's there. Each week is different.
Yep.
What I find also is sometimes I'll look and I'll think, well, I don't know. There's specialty presenters. I don't know if that's my particular interest. For me, I go and see all the specialty presenters. They are all the best of the best. There is an up to 2-year wait list to be a specialty presenter. So they are, even if it's something you think you might have no interest in, I've learned something from everything, and I'm glad I go to all of them.
We have access to the schedule if we already paid your deposit. It's just not completely
it's
written.
Not up yet.
She usually has it ready, like I think about a week before, right? Because as a presenter,
I get it on the Wednesday or Thursday before the Saturday.
Yeah, because
I get it in-house. However, what I can do is when you are booked, if I can send you an example of a recent schedule. So say the one that I had when I was there this past week, and I can tell you that the types of classes and the times of the classes will be very, very similar. You know, if there's yoga at 9 on the schedule that you see, there will always be yoga at 9 on Mondays. You know, pickleball will always be at 9 and 10 o'clock. The hikes will be the same. So it'll give you an overview. I can't tell you who the guest presenters are, or what they're presenting on, or what times they'll be. Most likely, they'll be the times of other guest presenters. You know, the 1 o'clock, there'll be a 4 o'clock, there'll be an 8 o'clock. So you'll get a pretty good sense of it, you know, the types.
Yep. And there's, you know, you can also get manicure, pedicure, you can get haircut if you want, you can get waxing, you can get all kinds of stuff. A lot of beauty treatments.
Are the events and things that we're booking, are they 50-minute? Like, can you go from back to back? Can you go to something at 1 o'clock and then at 2 o'clock?
Yes, generally you can get any, depending on how fast you walk, most people can get to any place in the ranch within the 15 minutes that they allow between classes. So classes are 45 minutes to give you 15 minutes to get to the next class. But if you have a massage could be 50-minute massage, or it could be a 90-minute massage. So if it's a 50-minute massage, you have to realize that there's going to be some time for you to change. So, you know, you don't want to cut it too close. You know what I'm saying, with your activity. Yeah. So when you get your little, like a little thing that folds multiple times, you can put little checks so that then you can work. Actually, if you just look at a schedule right now, like, for example, there's not usually, like, there's really no activities at the meal times. And so if you book a massage at 12, you're not going to miss any speakers. And then you could still eat lunch from 1 to 1:30, for example. Or if you booked a massage at 5, you could still eat dinner at 6:30, even 7, right? So you do it according to that. But there, towards the end of the day, there's fewer activities. Like at night, there's, like I said, there's not much. There's like one thing after dinner, and or the movie. You'll see. Like,
yeah, no, I just wondered whether if you booked at 9 o'clock for something, then you could book at 10 o'clock, or would you not necessarily be able to get from point A to point B in time?
Well, that's going to be very tough because of the time involved in changing, right? If you just leave the massage table at the 50-minute mark.
No, I mean more of the activities. Like if let's say I wanted to do a yoga class and then wanted to do an art class.
Oh yeah, no, from activity to activity, it's always, that will always work. It's just that with a massage, realize you're very relaxed. You really want to.
Oh, no, I would never do that.
Right, yeah, but yes.
It was just the actual.
Yeah, they give you 15 minutes. Now, some parts of the ranch are further away from others, but yes, you will be able to get to, the teachers are very good at ending on time for that very reason. It's, they drill that into us that we have to end. And then if people want to stay later and talk to us, they can, but we have to end right at that time.
Okay. And not to embarrass you, AJ, but you look phenomenal tonight.
Oh my God.
Not too embarrassed.
I when I first tuned in, and I thought, wow. And the whole time you haven't disappointed. I mean, you just get better and better.
Oh my God.
There's a brightness tonight that's just amazing.
It's the greens, baby.
It's the greens.
What can I do?
Well, you serve them well.
Thank you. Susanna's husband's microwave vegetables. And, we can do this again when it gets closer, especially once we know everybody that's going, we can have like a pep talk or a meeting talk or, but
this is a lot of fun, and it's very informative, but it's also to get excited about going. And, Susanna has a countdown, and, every couple of days she tells me how many more sleeps there are.
Oh my God, I do that too. I count everything in sleeps.
It's exciting.
Yeah, Suzanne is so excited for this. It's going to be amazing. I'd love to have a group Zoom with everyone who's going. Sure. So we don't have to do it right now, but I would say like in June, maybe when Donna is sure who is going, and there's probably people not going to back out unless, God forbid, an emergency, we can do this. And also what I would suggest is find a way to connect. I don't want to do any private Facebook groups. I don't like Facebook, but there's ways to connect, group text, WhatsApp, things like that. And if Susanna, you wanted to organize that, because you know, you don't want to be on your phone like while you're at the ranch. And I mean, there are designated places with Wi-Fi, so it's not like you're going to be able to be on your phone anyway. But you know, most people aren't spending time in their rooms, so we have to figure out a way like to connect people. But you know, we're always going to be at meals. I mean, that's a pretty easy way to connect, especially lunch and dinner. Not everybody goes to breakfast, you know, but lunch and dinner, I'm pretty sure people are going to be there at the designated times, and we'll find ways to sit together at least at dinner for sure. I know that we'll be able to all sit together at dinner. Yep. Show you my holiday French manicure. It's a little different, a little bit different than your traditional French. Holiday, so it's a sparkle tip French. All right, well, we've gone about an hour. So, oh yes, get the red, Charles, how many red bracelets do we have left? Do we have at least 30? If we have them, we'll bring them. For Rancho La Puerta? Hello? Because that'll be our signal that we're in the group together. Charles, do you think we have at least 30? All right, let me show you what we have left. But that doesn't mean we couldn't print some other ones up. Do we have? Oh, this is all we have. I don't know if it's 30. Doesn't look like 30, does it? Looks like less than 30. So if we could just maybe find some red plastic bracelets somewhere. We used to buy these by the thousands, you know? 1, 2, 3.
So we will all be dining together in the evening. I mean, it's optional, of course, but Saturday night when you arrive for sure. So, and through each day at the ranch, we'll see each other. So you will know who you are, you know, who's in the group with us.
There's 18, only 18 of them. Maybe we can find some other identifying mark or get t-shirts printed, or, you know, we could all get like a McDougal, it's the food t-shirt or something like that, you know? Yep. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you for your time. And again, you can always email Donna. I'll make sure that her email is in any follow-up emails if you have questions, because she's the man, the lady that's gonna be your kind of, what was that lady's name on the Love Boat? Julie. She's your guide. Hold 2 for you. Okay, I'll bring these. Maybe in the order signed up, and I'll see if I can order more, if they'll let me do a small order less than 1,000. All right. You're so welcome, everyone. Thank you, Donna. And guys, happy, healthy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to everybody.
We got something really major to look forward to. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And if you don't, guess what? You'll be the first. Literally, right? I mean, I've seen people go there like that. There was a girl, beautiful young girl, and she had just had like surgery and her arm was like this. And she just like, she still went to the cooking class, and, you know, and used her left hand and went on the hike. And, you know, people just, they love that place. So you might even see a celebrity or two. You never know. All right. Take care, everyone.
You all, and have a wonderful, peaceful, contented holiday.
Everybody, same to you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.